Sounds like what you're describing, if we could call it these two different polar opposites, is kind of a meology versus a theology.
Oh, that's great.
You know, looking at
Right.
living life for self as opposed to living life for God.
And you know what? There's a lot of books out there on how to make yourself look good, how to look stronger than you are. Everything is image. If you want to be on television, it's the image you've got to deal with. Nobody gets to be president who doesn't look good on you. And it's all about what's my best angle. Let me say that again so it sounds better. It's all about not who I am, but who I want other people to think I am.
Image.
Yeah.
Rather
How
than
shallow is that? When you are rooted in the things of God, you get to know who you are. You also get to know who you're not, which I think is helpful when you are looking for a job. And the job requires certain things that, you know you're not good at. And the person interviewing you says, hey, are you good at this? Well, ask most people today. They'll say, I can handle that.
Yeah.
And they know in their heart they can't. So then they fake it. Then you're on a direction that's a collision course. It's only a matter of time for the people who hired you to say, you know what? He isn't good at that. How much better to say, actually, that's not in the area of my strength. These are my strengths. And you tell them, I'm going to tell you something. When we hire at Insight for Living, we love a person to tell us where they're strong and where they're not strong. Because that's truth. Usually they are people who have really gotten to know the Scriptures. Because the Bible helps you know who you are. And I don't really know how all of that happens. I don't have a verse on it. But I know, for example, when I began to make a study of the Proverbs, 31 Proverbs fits neatly into a chapter a day for the month. And I began to do that over the year. You're reading it 12 times. Some of those principles come out and land on you and make sense.
The moments in life that you need them, they're there.
I can quote one of them. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. I think that's Proverbs 16:7. Well, we all have enemies, and not every enemy will be at peace, but the general principle is, if you retaliate, if you look for ways to get back at that person, that's going to only keep that chasm broad. The conflict will only intensify. But you know what? When your ways please the Lord, you're kind. When you've done wrong, you ask forgiveness. When that person is coming at you and it tends to create in you on your own anger or your own emotional response, knowing what pleases the Lord goes to work in you and your response is different. I don't know how it's different. I just know that Scripture can transform you so that you can become easier to be with. Again, the doctrines of the Scriptures come out in very practical